Okay, so we're coming into our next series of postures. We're going to do a deep squat, which is a great preparation pose for crow. And then we'll play around with crow a little bit to see what that looks like seated on a chair. And then we're going to do crescent lunge with a twist, and you'll have a couple of variations there too. So let's get started. So to do that deep squat, I would recommend 2 yoga blocks, right? So in a deep squat, we're doing an external rotation, so the toes and the knees are facing out versus forward like in king pigeon. So we're going to take our yoga blocks and we're naturally going to turn them out on little angles. They're probably lined up with the front leg of my chair here. So I'm going to take my foot, place it right here on the block, and I'm going to take my other foot and place it here on the other block. And I'm on the front edge of the chair. Anytime we're on the front edge of the chair, it makes the posture much more active because we really have to sit upright in our back. So we're really working, building strength back here as well as in our core. So I want you to press down through those blocks and, make sure you're feeling really rooted onto the floor. Knees are going the same direction as the toes, but to make this a little more active, imagine like you're pushing your knees in. You'll feel your inner thighs as well as your outer thighs begin to work. And if you're pressing down into the blocks, you'll feel the tops of your thighs as well. Then we are going to seal our palms right here at the chest center, taking a full breath in. As we exhale, hinging from the hips, bringing the elbows just inside of those knees, right? Not onto the bony part, but the fleshy part. We're gonna squeeze the knees in as we move the elbows out. Belly draws up and in. Back is lifted. Head stays in line with the spine. And we find that breath. This is a very active posture, so your legs should be active. Also feeling energy in the chest and the upper back. Pressing into those palms equally. Nice. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, move those shoulders right back over the hips, releasing the hands, releasing the feet from the blocks. And if you take a moment, you can really sense the work in your body from all of that. Pressing down, rooting, feeling strong in your low body. So how do we do crow on a chair? Well, we need to think about what parts of the posture we're actually trying to use. So we're trying to get strong in the upper body, right? And then we're also moving our legs back behind us. So here's a way we could set up crow on a chair. So I'm gonna take my 2 blocks again, but this time I'm gonna have them on their highest end. This is gonna be a place right here for my hands to perch, right? And so what I can do is scoot back in my chair a little bit more, and I could only focus on the part of going forward, because sometimes that's the scariest part, thinking you're gonna hit your face on the floor. So focusing on looking towards the front edge of the mat and letting our head come forward out of familiar position of standing upright. Bringing our hands onto the blocks. The blocks are just shoulder distance apart, so make sure you have those lined up. I'm pressing away from the blocks, right? So I'm not sinking into the blocks. I'm literally pressing away from the blocks. I'm pressing my feet into the floor, so I'm buoyant in my low body. And then I'm gonna keep this pressure onto the blocks as I bend my elbows towards my rib cage. And I can stay right here, just with the idea of like, oh, okay, this is the effort. Expanded across my chest, lifted in my upper back, ribs drawing in towards the chair, pressing my hands away. See, it's a lot to think about. So, but if you're just pressing your hands and squeezing your elbows, there's a lot of effort right here, especially if you push down into your feet. Now, if you want to take it a little bit deeper, we can tuck a toe. Look at that. We can tuck another toe, and we have that sensation of bringing the weight forward off of the chair. Stay in here for a few breaths. Bring yourself back. Release a foot and release a foot. Bringing those hands to the tops of the thighs. Pushing the shoulders over the hips. It's not crow pose floating, but it definitely is the effort so you can start making those connections. And eventually, you'll get there if you decide you want to be there. So don't worry about it. Just keep practicing. All right, next posture. Crescent lunge with a twist. So I'm going to move my blocks out the way. And I'm going to turn the chair around to the high end. And we'll go ahead and approach it from mountain pose. So I'm going to bring both my hands to the tops of the chair. And I am going to take my left foot and I'm just gonna step it back. So the chair is nice because once again, it lets your knee have a place to shoot for, going forward towards the chair. In crescent lunge, my back heel's lifted, my knees facing the floor, my hips are as square as they can be towards the chair. Hands on the chair, pressing through the feet, moving the knee towards the chair. Take a breath in, let the breath out. So whenever we twist, we always twist towards the front leg, okay? Not always, but typically twisting towards the front leg. So I'm gonna move my left hand to the middle of my chair, then I'm gonna let my right hand come free. Rotating the palm, and just like that, I'm in a twist. This hand back here gives me a little more balance. If I wanna go a little deeper, I can take my forearm to the chair and twist, reaching through the back heel, moving the front knee towards the chair, coming into that twist, support it with the chair. Staying for a few breaths. On an exhale, I'm gonna rotate that hand back up, bringing the hand to the top of the chair. Then we can just step up, mountain pose, and repeat that on the other side. I hope that's helpful. I can't wait to see how this works for you in your practice. So keep us posted. Let us know how it's going.